Hello, welcome back. Tonight I will speak about very interesting volume of mine, so to say my latest idea, no? And so it is connected to a lot of work that I have done, writing many different books and grimoires, and having more than 10 grimoires, I decided to create a collection of my first 11 grimoires that I have written under the name Galactica. It is like an encyclopedia, no? Like encyclopedia, meaning it has more than one subject, or it's like a larger book because it is over 5,000 pages. It's all the 11 grimoires combined, and for this reason it's a digital product. It will not be it cannot be made under a book because it's too many pages, but of course each grimoire I have published separately. If you're interested to buy in paper, you can do so as well. But tonight's recording is going to be about Galactica. And so well, the book, I know, has this beautiful violet color. And so well, it has a meaning too. And so well, it does go very much for me to the name Galactica, the color purple. And as I've said, it's a collection of my 11 grimoires, the different grimoires that I have written, and all of these grimoires, all of my grimoires are inspired by the book of King Solomon called Ars Goetia. And the Ars Goetia represents 72 spirits, and so well, 72 spirits of the Ars Goetia, as I said, is written by King Solomon. It is a very old book, older than 600-700 years, and so well, it is a very interesting thematic as well. The first grimoire that I've written was the Grimoire of King Paimon, and after I've written the Grimoire of Buer, then I've written Leraje, then I wrote Vapula, then Vassago, Barbatos, Lilith. And of course I always tend to forget a few, but there are 11 different ones, and in the description box there is information too with all the books, all the grimoires, so the titles. And speaking about the grimoires, you say, well, it is a special genre. The grimoire has a very interesting story to it. There are very few grimoires written. It is a more hidden type of genre, and it does speak about hidden secrets or hidden knowledge. It is a little bit more on that side. So, well, of course, because the thematics are very special and very unique. It speaks about that extra quality that the grimoires bring to any type of book. And all my grimoires are written in hymn verses, in a poetic form. That gives the grimoire, of course, a very high and very beautiful literary quality as well, or a poetic quality, And so, well, the verse does carry, it's like a song, it's like a lyric, it does carry that element of the wind, it does echo, so it does create a very beautiful flow. I like to imagine it as a river. So, well, it starts with the introduction of the character and then the story of that character, or a part of that story. So, well, the character has different stories to say. This is a part, and grimoire is, say, a part of that knowledge. But at the same time, so, well, it is only a part, but that part represents already what the thematic is, so it's in a way nothing lost. But of course, in a book, one works on a certain number of pages. Some of the grimoires are 200 pages, some are 300-400, some are even 500. I have Sitri, and King Paimon is around more than 700 pages. So it is a bigger amount of work, and at the same time, it does not speak to say if it's less pages, the grimoire is less valuable, because it's not true. It's not a mechanical, formal. So, well, it has more pages means the book is better, no. But, of course, the number of pages has to fit to the subject as well, no. And as a writer, I don't really think of the number of pages when I start to write. It does not really matter, but of course I do realize at one point, so well, it's going to be a larger book. I do know it, no. And It is of course more work, it takes more time. It's almost like, well, 700 pages, it's like, in a way, 3 grimoires, no? But it's the same thematic, so it's a little bit easier. It flows for me as well. And sometimes you just say, wow, so many pages I have read, you know. Sometimes it's a surprise for me as well, and say, well, or sometimes I reach 200-300 and then I'm like, okay, that's pretty much it, you know. But the Grimoire of King Paimon, which I consider my masterpiece, King Paimon is always going to be my masterpiece book from all the books that I will ever write or have written, doesn't matter. There's a quality of King Paimon, so, well, even being my first grimoire, it has a very special meaning to me as well. At the same time, I love all the other grimoires, the grimoires, for example, of Sitri, The Voice in the Darkness, very good, grimoire of Asmodeus, the grimoire of Vassago, of Leraje, of Barbatos, and Lilith too. Lilith is the only female character in this collection, so that too, it's a very special meaning as well. And then we have Vine, which is a little bit different, because a part is written in hymn, a part is written in prosa, so it's like a story in a story or a book in a book. It does create a different quality that first I wrote it as a grimoire as for the others, but then I wanted to tell the story, I combined the story and it created the subject finally. It was quite interesting for me as well. It was like a little plot twist in the story. And then I had to rewrite it. I started from the beginning and I started to write prosa, no? And then I included all the material of the grimoire in it as well. And there is a link to all the grimoires, to all my books, if you want to check them out or buy them, in the link description box below. And I do have other playlists where I speak about my other books, not all, but a few. And it's quite interesting as well, no? That meditative process that enters in the element of writing a book or thinking about a story. And so, well, I do enjoy that very much, the ability of storytelling, and it is something that I always admired in others as well. I think it's a beautiful quality to have, and it does help me very much when I write my books. At the same time, the way I write my books, I'm very military-like. I do a lot of amount of work in a very short time because I'm passionate about the subject, and I put, a lot of time and energy into it as well. And the recordings are a little bit more relaxing, more entertaining for me as well, and speaking about the different characters or different things that come to my mind. So, well, there are beautiful stories as well there to hear. So you can always check my playlist with other grimoires, other subjects that I talk about, because I do think they're interesting. For example, I have the playlist of Asmodeus, or the playlist of Lilith, or Leraje, or Scheherazade, other books of mine as well, if you're interested in discovering more about the subject as well, before or after reading the book, no? And the volume of Galactica, as I've said, is a digital product, and you can write me and I can give you more information if you want to buy it as well. And so, well, you're going to be able to read it in a digital format. So it is more than 5,000 pages, and it includes all my 11 grimoires, which are very special, very beautiful books. And if you want to know more about my grimoires, you can check my playlists as well, my books where I sell them. And thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.